nobody know my trouble but God. Don't nobody know my trouble but God. Ooh, Lord, ain't my trouble so hard. Ooh, Lord, ain't my trouble so hard. Don't nobody know my trouble but God. Don't nobody know my trouble but God. Ooh, Lord,
nobody in my family knew of the diagnosis until I was like 9, 10. I was born with it. My father was very abusive, and he didn't really understand the episodes, or he didn't really understand the actions that I was carrying at the time. So it caused him to overreact and do some stuff that's, he might feel regretful for. When I was 5 years old and my ribs got broke due to a punishment or due to a lesson that he was trying to teach me, led to me being in foster care. My biological mother, she really couldn't deal with it no more. So it was like, well, I have other kids that I have to make sure it's straight and good so the state can take over with Marcus. I think they can do more for him than I can. I don't think she had another way to deal with it. My grandmother, she quit her job. She stopped working, and she allowed me I became her job. We read Bible scriptures, we read anything in the house. Everything she pointed to, I had to read it. I had to learn how to understand words, letters, shapes, forms, sizes, and different things of that nature. There was a program being introduced to Georgia that was called Charter. Charter was an outpatient program for people that had mental disorders. It was never made for children, not at that point. So they put me in this room. Well, they called it the timeout room. It was padded, and it was a room where they had a little clear bubble in front of the door, and they turned the white clock, like 20 minutes, 15 minutes, or whatever, however long it took you to calm down. That's how long you was in this room. Like you couldn't, if you had to use the bathroom, you just had to use it on yourself because it was not letting you out this room. And, it got to the point where I had to be in that room a lot. That's when I got introduced to Berta Looper at the Clifton Springs Mental Health Center down in DeKalb County. And at first it was family counseling, then it became just my counseling. And from Berta introduced me to my behavior aide, Bob Ortner. Bob Ortner, like I was 6, 7 years old, he used to come to my classroom and sit right next to me and make sure that I had a productive day. But then when I had my bad days, he was always reassuring, gave me advice, gave me wisdom, told me I can do it. And then I had a speech therapist, her name was Anna Gibbs. She used to come visit me in my classroom and take me to special lunches and help me read and learn. All of these people was provided by the state of Georgia. So in 6 months, when we went back to family court to see if my biological parents wanted me, at that time they were still in the same situation that they was in. So we stopped going to family court because Dorothy Carr said that, nah, we're not gonna keep emotionally putting him through this. So she said that I'm just gonna become what he needs. So she became my mother. I ended up going to Charter inpatient. Like I stayed in Charter for like 4, 5, maybe 6 months. And that time they introduced me to a medication called Ritalin. I was on 1,000 milligrams of Ritalin. I had to take it 2 times to 3 times a day. And if anybody out there understands what Ritalin does to you, it zombifies you and puts you in a mind state, in a mental state to where whoever gives you a command or whoever tells you what to do or whatever you're doing, there is no episodes, no back talk, there is no anything because you're in that state of mind. They use it a lot of times for children who have disciplinary problems to try to get them in line. Then I was on a medicine called Paxil. And then I was on a medication called Depakote, 1,000 milligrams each one, to try to tame the behavior. 93, I was 10 years old and I got diagnosed with something that I was born with, which is called autism. They put me in a place called GMHI, Georgia Mental Health Institution. That's an inpatient. They let you stay there. Like, you ain't going nowhere. So I stayed there for about a year. That's when I first got introduced to a word called shock therapy. So they used to use electrical shock therapy when you refuse to take medications. So when I didn't want to take my Ritalin, when I didn't want to take my Paxil, when I want to take the Depakote, they introduced me to a new medication called Seroquel. At this point, I'm drugged up medication-wise. I got 4,000 milligrams. It's 4 different medications, 1,000 milligrams each one. So I'm in a world that I don't even know how to be in, but I'm still having problems. So they figure out, well, what do we do with Marcus? We done got him in therapy. We done put him on medication. We done isolated him and separated him from other children. How can we deal with his behavior? Well, they introduced me to something when I was 10. It's called the straitjacket treatment, where they put me in this big old white jacket and just left me in the corner in the room for hours. If he'll calm down now, so we'll take him out of this jacket or whatever. So every time they took me out the jacket, I end up getting right back in the jacket because I was trying to fight some people. Because I did not understand the hours of why they left me in this jacket. At this time, I'm having severe episodes in public. Not only am I biting people or scratching them, I'm jumping on them at this time. I don't even have to know them. I'm 13, and I'm going to middle school and all this other stuff, but I'm still having emotional problems. I think when I was 14 and Bob Orton left, I think that rocked my world. Bob Orton got killed in a car crash. At 14, he was gone. There was nobody on my side no more saying, okay, you can do this. You don't have to act up in school. You don't have to be that person. You know, you can make a change for the better. You can be a light. You can be a star. Then a lot of other stuff is changing. So I don't have the same comfort that I had when I was younger. For like maybe 7, 8 months, a year, in and out of juveniles, in and out of court, in and out of, you know, we should put him on probation. How do we deal with him? Roberta Luper came to my last court hearing and she said, I'm gonna take him. And she took me to some, I don't know if it was Augusta, Macon, I don't know where it was in Georgia. Whatever city she took me to. Like, they didn't really have a whole bunch of kids. It was a lot of elderly people and stuff. I ain't see kids playing outside. I don't know what city that was. But I know her mother lived there. So I stayed with Roberta Luper and her mother. My life started changing. It was nothing but gospel music on 24/7. That's it. I couldn't go outside. I couldn't meet new people. I was just inbound in the house. When I was 16, I chose to leave Georgia and go to Brooklyn, New York. My aunt was living there, and she allowed me to stay. I'm still on these medications, still having outbursts. I'm still dealing with emotional situations. I'm still going to behavioral schools. That's where I met Miss Tiffany. That's where I met Mr. Anthony. That's where I met these people that not only embraced what I was going through with the autism and the medication, but they embraced something called music. They said that this can become your expression. You don't have to use your voice. You don't have to use words. Let me teach you how to express yourself musically. So Mr. Anthony used to stay after school hours to teach me trumpet, drums, how to play piano and organ. That's when I first fell in love with music. The chords, the melodies, the harmonies, the sound. I used to sit in Mr. Anthony's class for hours. Just had the headphones on. Sometimes I listen to it out loud. Just the artwork and the collection of Quincy, Fat Domino, Duke Ellington, B.B. King, Dinah Summers, Stephanie Mills, Stevie Wonder. Just listen to the melodies of their songs, not the way they sing them or not the way they did any arranging, just the composition and the melodies and the harmonies of their songs and the way that I heard them. When I was about to turn 17, I started hearing melodies, strings, guitars, drums, pianos, everything. I used to hear them in my head, like people hear conversations. And I'm 35 and I still hear them. That's why now I have 50,000 beats, trademark, copyrighted, all samples are clear. That's why now I make 18 different genres of music, play 8 instruments. You know, God has blessed me to work with Dwelle, Eric Roberson, Kanye Doss, Good Morning America, different movies, different commercials. You know, the list goes on. I'm in Wikipedia because I did help to write How to Love with Lil Wayne. Feeling like a thunderstorm, but I haven't felt the rain. Mind exchange when I just really found the answer. Searching for reality, feeling disease, more cancer. Haven't found a way to the world, the pearl that I choose to bring out. Another melody sings, lifestyle deals with doubt. Go ahead, I'm rushing without anybody else. More heartfelt. Gotta get this situations, more issues off my chest, and I promised God and my grandma I was gonna be the best, but nevertheless, I still go through my issues. Common foes.
I'm probably gonna hit you with one of the easiest questions, but I mean, what's the biggest challenge of being autistic?
I think the biggest challenge for me is to be able to prove and show people that I have a voice and I'm just like them and I'm normal just like everybody else.
What's the biggest challenge of being a creative?
Is to rechannel and translate what I hear in my head to the digital computer platform.
So you work with who?
Well, he was Puffy then. Mr. Diddy. I was intern at Daddy House Studios. So which means that I did most of the wiping on the boards, glasses and stuff of that nature. Used to get sodas and drinks or whatever. And then he'll give you that 30 minutes in 24 hours. He'll give you 30 minutes. Yeah. Each intern has 30 minutes in the studio to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
And if you need an engineer in 30 minutes, it's free.
Yeah.
But after that 30 minutes,
yeah.
It's done. But what I learned was musical structure, musical creativity. They never made fun of me because I was artistic, but you know, he used to tell me all the time, use your autism as a gateway to help others see their dreams.
Right.
He used to tell me that all the time. He said, never sit back on it and act like you can't propel because you have it.
Yeah.
He said, God brought you this far for a reason. He said, even if you wasn't my intern.
Word.
I'm trying to live this American dream. Rafiya telling Brittany to shoot the scene. Know what I mean? They really brought a friend along. Her name is Jessica, not a tag along. So really go ahead and get it right. I really obey my thirst with this mic like I'm drinking Sprite. Another refuge, promise you that I would never lose. Making sure you watch this Hill Street Blues. Never understand why I get confused. I'm just here making coverage when it comes to news. Another artistic minded and making sure this 16 to leave you blinded. You never really knew that I was gonna be this gifted. Pass it to my man so you can understand the rip this. My grandmother, when I was 23, she was passing away. And she said, I want you to use your life and your dreams as a way to propel you and stop allowing the devil to cripple you. Yes, you was born with autism, but that don't mean that you have to keep being afflicted by what you were born with. Promise me that you will be a light. That's the last words I heard from her. Somebody recently made me realize that I was running away from this story called autism because I ain't never wanted nobody to know. I was already going through schools and programs and therapy and doctors. I was already on medication. I was already having these situations that I was dealing with. And you want me to tell somebody that I'm still using the bathroom on myself at 22, 23 years old? You want me to tell somebody that? And I'm trying to make a friend? Nah, I don't take medication no more through the glory of God. I put him first. I allow him to be the head of my life. It allowed me to open my mind and ears and don't be medicated to a point where I can't understand comprehension or I can't understand the things that I'm doing. And I always refer back to what my grandma said. Every time I have a problem or an issue, and you know, I'm 35, and there's a lot of times in my room or when I'm alone, I still have episodes. Still have them. I think my story of abuse, misunderstanding, dealing with autism needs to be told, needs to be understood why I am an advocate for it, why I believe in it so much, because I personally went through it. If you're dealing with a child, a young adult, or an adult that has autism, it is not a disease. There's nothing wrong with it. See, I was non-functional for 13 years. Then I became functional. Because again, it was not just me, it was the team that God blessed around me. And I thank God that he blessed me to have autism, because I wouldn't be on this platform and I wouldn't meet the incredible people that I have met through my life and going to meet. This is Marcus Boyd, advocate for autism. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your love.
Mentally affected, mama detected that my life was nowhere and I was reckless, leaving you out of my everyday cycle. I was all survival by thugs and rivals, never picking up Bibles, but I say I'm saved, never hoping for God's arrival. I thought if I was a sinner then I was gonna die one. Seen Christ in an icon with parables on Mount Zion. Feeling curious, mind delirious, feeling furious, cause I thought God ain't hearing us. Mysterious when it comes to your grace, I get a chill on my spine when my blessings in place. And yes, I believe in you. You know what I've been through. I lift my eyes to say that I need you. I need you. Come on. La la. La la. La la. La. Do it for the love, then. La la. La la. La la. From where I'm sitting, things are different. I ain't feeling the same. My brother's missing, cause I'm guessing I'm just losing the game. Provided I'm lame, angry, never shooting no blame. Knowing I should be loving God, but still rebuking the same. Bruising my brain, no care about. Move for fame, I rise to the top like humans doing the food in the chain. Using my name, I fight to resist. This Iris a miss. I think where would I be without a mic in my fist? Cyphers of bliss with his verse a list of emotions illustrated. Give a line on the twist. I'm climbing a cliff, I fight to exist. Lord, can I get a witness? Cause the struggle seem endless. It starts with repentance. Let me cradle in your arms like an infant. In your eyes I'm innocent. Never mind my sins and hindrance. Without you I'm negligent. So what would I do? Because of you. Come on. La, la.